Rin Aoki takes the closing shift at Lumen Fitness, covering for a coworker who quit without warning 3 weeks ago. The gym sits at the dead end of a half-empty strip mall, sandwiched between a shuttered nail salon and a locksmith that closes at 6. She likes the job well enough. Quiet hours, decent pay, nobody to answer to after 10. The gym recently converted its old cardio room into a mirrored studio, though it's been closed for maintenance since the day it opened. Nobody's ever told her what the maintenance actually is. Her manager just says, keep the lights off in there, keep the door shut. Don't overthink it. Tonight, the gym empties out by 11, the last member's car pulling out of the lot. Rin locks the front doors, wipes down the last treadmill, and heads for the studio room to check the thermostat like she does every night. She doesn't go inside. She's never once gone inside. Mopping near the studio room a little after midnight, Rin catches her own reflection in the frosted glass door. It's moving a half step behind her, like the glass has a slight delay built into it. She stops mid-stroke to test it, and for one full second, the reflection keeps mopping after she's already stopped. She blinks hard, certain it's just tired eyes and bad fluorescent lighting playing tricks. The studio door's glass is old and scratched, she tells herself, warped enough to distort motion at the wrong angle. She goes back to mopping, faster now, not looking at the door again. Down the hall, the vending machine hums and flickers once, then steadies. She checks her phone. 12:14 a.m. Nothing about the number means anything to her yet. Restocking the front desk drawer, Rin finds a folded note taped to its underside, left by the coworker who quit. It reads, "Don't clock in after 1 a.m. Don't look at the third mirror. And if it waves first, it isn't you anymore." Rin laughs out loud, alone in the empty gym, the sound too sharp in the silence. She assumes it's a prank, some bored employee's idea of a joke left for whoever came next. Still, she checks the clock on the front desk monitor out of reflex. 12:58 a.m. Her stomach tightens for no reason she can name. She tells herself 2 minutes means nothing, that a coincidence isn't a warning. She tapes the note back exactly where she found it, careful not to crease it further. At 1:03 a.m., the studio room door swings open on its own, hinges silent, no draft to explain it. Rin walks over to pull it shut, more annoyed than afraid. Through the gap, the center mirror shows her already standing inside the studio, even though she's still in the doorway. The reflection's posture is wrong, too straight, too still, arms hanging at an angle hers never do. It smiles. Rin isn't smiling. She yanks the door shut so hard the glass rattles in its frame. Behind her, every hallway light flickers once in unison, then holds. She doesn't remember deciding to back away from the door, only that she's 3 steps further from it than a second ago. The reflection doesn't wait behind the glass. It steps forward from inside the mirror, palm pressing flat against the interior of the studio door. Rin doesn't stay to watch what happens next. She sprints for the front desk, slapping every light switch along the wall as she passes. The gym goes fully dark, row after row of overhead lights dying in sequence behind her. Only the studio room stays lit, glowing faintly from inside, though she killed that switch first. She ducks behind the front counter, breath ragged, watching the studio door through the gap beneath the shelf. doesn't open. It doesn't need to. Hiding in the supply closet, phone flashlight shaking in her hand, Rin searches for anything that might explain what she just saw. Wedged behind a shelf of cleaning supplies, she finds a second note, older, the ink faded almost to nothing. It's signed by a manager who left the gym years before Rin was hired. It reads, "It doesn't chase you. It waits for you to check if it's still there, and you must never check twice." Rin's blood runs cold. She's already looked back at that door twice tonight. She sits very still in the dark closet, listening for any sound beyond her own heartbeat. Nothing answers her. That silence somehow feels worse than anything that could have. One by one, the gym's other mirrors begin to change. In the locker room mirror, Rin's reflection stands motionless at the far end of an aisle she isn't in. In the water fountain's polished steel panel, another version of her watches, unblinking, head tilted slightly wrong. By the elevator, the brushed metal doors show her standing directly behind herself, close enough to touch. She doesn't test any of it by turning around. She keeps her eyes forward, moving room to room like the gym itself has quietly filled with versions of her she never agreed to. Every mirrored surface in the building seems to be, one by one, occupied. She starts counting them without meaning to. Back at the front desk, Rin notices a faint discoloration on the wall beside the entrance, a rectangle slightly darker than the paint around it. It's the exact size and shape of a mirror. She remembers now. There used to be one hanging right there, years before the studio renovation. It was taken down and never replaced. No explanation given to staff. She understands, cold and sudden, that the studio room isn't new at all. It's where they moved the old mirror after it stopped being safe to look into. Someone built an entire room around it instead of getting rid of it. Rin presses her back against the wall, as far from every reflective surface as the building allows. 9:58 a.m., 2 minutes before her relief is due, Rin has to walk directly past the studio room door to reach the exit. She keeps her eyes fixed on the floor tile, counting her own footsteps instead of looking up. The reflection doesn't follow her through the glass this time. It doesn't need to. Somewhere behind her sternum, she can already feel it, the itch to check mirrors that isn't fully her own anymore. She reaches the front doors and steps out into gray pre-dawn light, gulping air like she's been underwater. Her hands are shaking, and she doesn't try to stop them. The strip mall parking lot is empty, ordinary, indifferent to what just happened inside. Her relief arrives right at 6, yawning, keys jangling in one hand. Rin tells him the night was quiet. She isn't lying exactly. Nothing loud happened, nothing anyone else would call an incident. On her way to her car, she catches her reflection in the gym's glass front door. It's a half step behind her. It's smiling. It waves first. Rin doesn't wave back, but her hand rises anyway, a half second late, entirely without her permission. She gets in her car and doesn't look at a mirror again for the whole drive home.